As if the wildfire danger hasn't felt real enough, people in Prince George woke up to dark skies.
It is pitch black again. It's not nice.
This is 8:40 a.m. as the wind carried in the smoke. 20 minutes later, it's like the sun goes down instead of up. 10 minutes after that, you'd think it's the middle of the night. And then, about an hour and a half later, daylight returns.
So dark, and it was just this ominous dark cloud hanging over the community. It was unbelievable.
It's in part due to the massive Shovel Lake wildfire burning to the west.
Some of the wind in the past few days has actually whipped up pretty good, and you could just imagine how fast the fires travel in the wind.
On the edge of that fire is Fort St. James. The entire town could be forced to leave. It's minute by minute, and supplies are running out.
Run out of sprinklers, getting low on garden hoses. We're low on 20 liter. I got one left of the 20 liter jerry cans, and basically batteries.
Even though the flames are creeping up, Juha Salokanel isn't worried.
House with stucco siding. I've got water all around me. I have fire pumps. I've got my generator hooked up.
The Fort St. James resident says if evacuation alert turns into an order, he's not leaving.
If it comes so fast and we can't get out of here, this is all replaceable. I've got an aluminum boat, and I got 2 oars.
Further southeast, in and around Kimberley, ash from the Meechin fire falls from the sky. As of this morning, almost 8,000 people are on alert.
We're a bit on the anxious side, and we packed like 5 days ago. We just have a couple suitcases back here. We got a couple more in the house that are being packed.
With nearly 600 fires burning across the province, it's likely residents still have weeks of uncertainty ahead. Anita Bath, CBC News, Vancouver.
Now, we've all seen pictures and video of the fires, but what's it like to actually face one? Well, James Stump is a logger who was working close to the massive Shovel Lake fire when he became a witness to its destructive power.
The wind was coming at us, we'd already be screwed.
It was kind of surreal because we're not allowed to have campfires, and it felt like a giant campfire all around us. You'd get flare-ups up the trees, and then it would candle on the top, and it sounded like a freight train, and the heat would get very intense. And I was at the very edge of the leading edge of the eastern portion of that Shovel Lake fire, and where it was, the wind had changed direction, and it was actually blowing itself back into what it had already burnt. You get out and you breathe that, and it's hard on the lungs. I've seen that fire travel 13 kilometers, watching it on the map, and one day it traveled 13 kilometers. So a good heavy wind, and it's going to wipe out a lot of people's properties back there.
It's a pretty frightening picture he paints. And it's not just the flames that are making people afraid. The overwhelming clouds of smoke are gigantic, increasingly dangerous, and constantly on the move.
Even my dog, he doesn't even want to come out, and
Smart dog. Forest fire smoke is full of toxic particulate matter called black carbon, which can be really bad for you, deadly even with too much exposure. And just look at how much black carbon NASA has identified over Western Canada. It's not just British Columbians at risk. The smoke has blanketed vast parts of Alberta to pretty eerie effect. This video is from Edmonton, taken a couple days ago at 10 in the morning. Kind of looks like a scene from a Terminator movie, the end of the world. And Calgary, too, has struggled in the dark. So where's that haze going now? Well, Blue Sky Canada is a collaborative effort between BC and Alberta that tracks all of this. Its smoke forecast points east, as far as Ontario, thousands of kilometers away. But perhaps the best perspective is from way up. All that smoke is clearly visible from space. In the middle of this cloud cover, you can see it, a large gray mass, always moving. In a sense, the smoke is becoming its own kind of weather, and CBC News meteorologist Johanna Wagstaff is now experiencing that firsthand. She drove through that smoke on her way back to Vancouver from 100 Mile House today, and she took a moment to pull over and tell us what that was like.
Here in Hope Slide, visibility has actually improved somewhat today, but if you look off to the distance down the Fraser Canyon, the mountain's still shrouded in smoke. Back up towards 100 Mile House, where I drove down from this morning, visibility was at its worst yet, waking up to that thick smell of smoke in the air, and visibility was down less than a few hundred meters, I should say, all the way to the Fraser Canyon. That's where we're getting some winds helping to mix things out. The smoke, though, in the communities actually helping to inhibit temperatures, and that at least means we're not getting the thunderstorm develop in the afternoon, which is some good news. But this general west to east flow across the province is advancing some fires eastward. High pressure for the rest of the week means hot, dry, and smoky. Johanna Wagstaff, CBC News, Hope Slide.